Hello there. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. You are watching Arlene LIWS. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube, so I'm inviting everybody to please interact with us. And if you have questions, especially because at some point in this podcast, we will be reading your comments and answer your questions live. Today, I am joined by my friend Grace. She is currently based in Texas, but I first met her back in 2011 in the Philippines, where we worked in the same firm. Now, here in the US, she's working for a manufacturing firm in a managerial position. So it's very interesting today. I'm so happy she said yes to share her experiences in landing a job here in corporate America as a migrant herself. So yeah, if this is something that interests you, if this is something that you think people will benefit from, please share this video to as many people as you can, and that will greatly help my channel reach more people like us who seeks for growth and who seeks for success. So thank you so much for being here, and without any further ado, let's dive into the podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you so much, Gracie, for doing this podcast with me. Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. It's always a wonderful time to have a conversation with you. I really wish we are neighbors, but because it's not the case. So
Right.
good. Thank you to the technology. We're able to do this still.
It's
So,
always nice
yeah,
chatting with you
Gracie. So
offline and
tonight,
online.
correct. So, yeah, tonight we will be talking about your experience in landing a job here in America, because I believe this will truly bless a lot of Filipino migrants like us. So, Gracie, to kickstart our conversation, can you please share some insights about yourself, like your pathway of moving to America, and how long have you been here?
Okay. Hi. If you've never watched our podcast about super moms, you will know that. Okay, so I've been with Arlene since the first podcast, and it's my second podcast with her. And this, I'm Grace. I'm from the Philippines, and I'm here living in Texas for I'm here in the U.S. for almost 10 years now. I live here, currently live here in Texas, and I'm a mom of one. I work in a manufacturing company for almost 4 years now. Actually, just turned 4 years, and what else was your question? Or I'm sorry, I get
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And then,
right.
Gracie, did you immediately look for a job as soon as you got here in the US? Or what did you do something else first before looking for a job?
So when I came here, I was on a non-working visa. I was under my husband's visa. It's H-4B. So I am not legally allowed to work. So I came here, like without anything to and I don't even want to um, work for the sake of working, right? I don't want to illegally do some work for money, just because at the end of the day we're going to be applying for a green card, and they will know if you're receiving you're doing work illegally. But
Yes.
um, what I did during that time, and I was not allowed to work, I took masters in philosophy in University of Dallas. And because in the Philippines, if you ask why philosophy, I am a business graduate in the University of Cebu, Manila. And I took accounting, management accounting. And then why did I took masters in philosophy? So the story behind that is I really, really, really like to read, and reading gives me something makes takes me to a different place, or takes me to a person's mind. And in the Philippines, we don't really get to have that luxury, or to study something that we like, because
Mm,
when we enroll into a university in the Philippines, it would be like get something that would land you a good job. high pay, and it's usually in business, engineering, or nursing. So and during my time, nursing was really high, but you know the tuition fee was too high, I couldn't afford. And it's not something that I was a full scholar at the university. But if I will take nursing, I cannot, they will not take me as a full scholar. I have to pay, um, on top of it. So I took business no, management accounting. And I realized when I got the syllabus, like, you're officially enrolled in the business school, and I talked to the dean. I'm like, I feel like I want to unenroll and enroll to psychology. And I remember I had to sit with the dean of the university, and she looked at my grade, and she was like, um, with the grade that you have, I really think that you can, you really can take like accounting um, subjects, and that would be easy for you, because before they were like, accounting is very difficult and all that. So and but and I would not discourage you to take psychology, but let me just tell you, in the real world, between accountancy and psychology, between these two, you would likely land to a job that would give you higher pay. And in psychology, in one company, let's say psychology, you would land in HR or like teaching job, right? But there aren't going to be a lot of like hiring for those, right?
Yeah, job
In a
opportunities.
business is always there. You could be in supply chain, you could be in, like
And
yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities, and which is true, right? So like,
yes.
and I'm like, yeah, right. And like, okay, I'm not gonna change my mind. I'm just gonna take management accounting. And when I came here, and I didn't, I don't have any, um, regret of taking that. And I thank that dean, yeah, Dean Mania, for like encouraging me to do that. And when I came here 2014, and I had nothing to do, and I talked to my husband, what should I do to make my time like productive? I have to learn something. I cannot just lay down here and just, reading the whole day is good. I've never done that in my life, because I've after I took scholarship in University of Cebu, I was a working scholar 3 years, within 3 years there. And we got, scholarship. And apart from that is we also get allowance. So I was like working at like the age of 17 until I came here at like 24. So I was like, in that span, I was mostly working. So when I came here, I'm like, I have nothing to do. So what should I do? So it's like a
Yeah.
shock. It's like, I'm so bored. What should I do? I've read a lot of books already, and like, it's the sense of like, I'm not earning. That's the most thing. The thing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not earning. And the other thing is like, my husband told me in a positive way. He was like, this is the time where you get a break, where you get to rest, where you don't have to wake up early to go to office, where you don't have to worry about deadlines, where you don't have to worry about reports and like your boss and everything. And I said, but I have to make sure that I'm making it as a productive like break. So then that's why I enrolled something that I like, that I did get a chance to study, and that is philosophy. If
Nice.
yeah.
So with me also, Gracie, it was also pretty much the same. Like when I got here in the US, because I was on a K1 visa, I was not allowed to work right away.
Right,
So, and then because it was COVID, the processing of my work permit took a little longer than it should
right,
have. So around those time where I can't work, pretty much like you, I have been working since 16 years old. So my
right.
body was not used to not working.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I made use of that time by learning. So at
Learning.
that time, because I don't want to work like you illegally, because I don't want them to find out and kick me or not
They
give
will
me.
know it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I said no, I'm not gonna risk that.
Right.
So I also enrolled myself in Udemy, so something that if you can't afford masters, then there's a lot of
Online.
certifications online that
Yes.
yeah, some are free, some are at a minimal cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, for our viewers who can't work yet, when you got here in the US, you can do that.
Yes.
whatever, yeah, field that you are in, you can do that. And or also explore masters. And if you're a woman, my husband is actually telling me that there's a lot of scholarships for women. I did not explore that because at that time it's like I don't want to go masters. I'm just gonna go with something that I can finish right away.
I'm
So
interested to know about that, if there is.
ah
Yeah.
yeah, so I took a certification on I mean in Udemy.
Mhm.
So that's what I did around that. So Gracie, when you finally decided to apply a job in the US, how was the experience? Was it easy? Was it difficult? And what are the documents that you have to prepare in order for you to secure a job?
Okay, so when I finally got, the legal paper to like work permit to work, so at first, okay, so I was preparing, editing, updating my resume, like, and writing a resume is like the way I did it in the Philippines. And I asked my husband, and he was like, well, you have to add more information to that one. So it's his resume is a good reference for me to like draft. And then I had to prepare to when I was looking, I was like, oh my gosh, given the time that I haven't worked, I know an ERP, I know some systems, but like there are some words and maybe systems that maybe I don't know anymore. And it's not really something that, it's not like you don't know, it's just my mind like telling me, like, oh my God, I was hesitant. And because I would say, like, I came from the Philippines and this is a new world, and it's not something that have done before. So whenever I look for jobs, I was at first looking for like admin or representatives. I could start from there. And my husband was asking me, what did you do in the Philippines? I'm like, of course, I'm in supply chain. And he was like, then you do that. Why are you like settling down, or like why are you lowering yourself? I'm like, because I just want to find a job. I feel like it's easier for me to start somewhere, and then at least, and from there, when I'm already there, I can get to do some job. And he was like, no, that doesn't work that way. If you want a job and you know that you like to do it, even if it takes so long for you to find a job, it's fine. I'm like, well, I can't have pain. He was like, well, I'm still here. So I think that support is really good. um, because when I looked in LinkedIn and Indeed, most of the jobs that are easy to apply are customer service, admin, and I want job right away because I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I've never worked for almost like 2 years, so I have to land a job right away. So like I was in a hurry. So when you want to do things and you want to land into something, the process won't be like in one snap, right? But like I think given that situation, I was like not rational, and it helped when you have someone like
Mm-hmm.
putting back the rationality in you. And that's why I was like, okay, I actually sit down with him, and I had to like edit my resume and like really, if this is what you want to look for the right words to put into it. Because
Yeah.
when recruiters look for prospect employees, they would look for certain words, and then your resume will pop up, right? So like
Right.
that's one of the preparations that I had to do. It wasn't easy. It was like really, okay, I like it, but then I realized that I don't actually feel like I can do it, because that I took an I was like, I got hired for an admin job, and I realized with like, yes, like the secretarial job, and I realized that it's not something that really that I wanted to do. Like it depends on you, right? But like for me, I it's not something that I would want to be doing. So I
Mm-hmm.
declined and just redo my job. And then it took me some time and finally land a job. The first job I had was in it's a company that trains people to sell in Amazon. And
Oh.
yeah, so I helped in fulfilling. rewards for the members that are in higher tier. So I dealt with logistics team for the shipment, and I had customer service experience in the Philippines. So I had to deal with customers or like the clients for like, this is give me your address. This is the items worth this much, and it's coming to you this day. So that's what I did. Um, I only worked for that company for like 6 months, and that was in Boston. And then we
Mm-hmm.
had to move in Texas, and in Texas, that's the time that I finally land a job that is in supply chain management, like in a manufacturing company. The first one that I did in Boston's like a small company, a startup company, and I'm not sure if they are still there, but that was in Boston, the first one.
Do you think, Gracie, that your experience in that company in Boston helped you get your foot in the door, in the corporate America, and was able you to, or allowed you to, get this manufacturing job, which is I mean, job in the manufacturing company in the supply chain in section.
Yes. The first thing I learned from that first company that I worked for in Boston was you have to learn to know the culture, right? And for you to know it, you have to work with the people. And it's really like getting yourself accustomed to how people work, to the culture. Like, for example, in the Philippines, we're like very hesitant to ask questions, or we are hesitant to even request like for a PTO.
Mm-hmm.
But like in here, when I first started with an American company, they're like, you're open to talk. And we had this like meeting early in the morning, and like, if you have any ideas, you can bring it in the table, and then no one would judge you. And if they would, I mean, like, maybe because I wasn't like accustomed to how like people are, but like, I didn't care. I can just bring up my ideas. So I think that was the start. I started with like confidence in myself. And yeah, in supply chain, it's really like, it's a bigger like supply chain, right? Like in the
Yeah,
Philippines, I did work, but it's within the local, like within Cebu and like within Philippines. But like
and this one
here,
is global.
it's global. Yes. So
Right.
yeah, that was the first thing, like how you work with people.
Right. I'd like to go back to that part where you said that in the beginning when you were looking for jobs, you were trying to put yourself down and trying to, belittle your accomplishments in the
Right.
Philippines, and you are willing to even start from the very beginning. And I just want to emphasize that because that was really beautiful that we have a husband because, like, like they are, that they're very supportive. Because like you, Gracie, when I was looking for a job as well, I was so eager because, haven't been not working for 9 months. I was like, I'm so excited, like whatever it takes, I can start. My
Right.
age is still, I'm still young, I can still start,
You learn.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then my husband was telling me, why are you like that? You need to aim higher. And
Mhm.
you are qualified. And so he was affirming me. So it's always nice to have that kind of person. And if you are somebody, because it's normal for us Filipinos, because we always have that maikugon, or
My
it's
own,
like
yes,
inherent
yes.
trait from us
Or
that,
like,
like, yeah, like self-deprecation is like our what you call this, it's a trait or something that we champion, but something that is really not good. So don't do that to yourself. Like when you
right,
move to America, aim higher.
right.
And yeah, but yes, of course, it's so difficult to get yourself, or yeah, to get your self land a job, because employers would think, oh, this person don't have an experience yet in the, in corporate America yet. So what I did at that time, Gracie, I just sent a lot of applications at that.
Application.
Yeah, I sent a lot of applications, and don't be ashamed of that. If you're,
Yeah,
yeah, don't be ashamed of that.
I
And
did, because I just want to get a job right away. And I'm like, no, this is not right.
yeah,
Sometimes I even like forget, what was that? What did I apply for again? What was this company? So like,
absolutely. And then when you will receive an interview question, it's like, oh, you're in, then I will go back. Oh, yeah, that's right. What was this company? Anyway, so that was my beginning. But then, of course, after you land that job, I mean, already had your job experience in the U.S., then you can now be picky, like Grace, like
Right.
started this, and now I mean, she's in the supply chain. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind to do not be ashamed or do not feel depressed or something if your applications were not answered or
It's
something
just
like that.
depressing sometimes.
Yes, I know that,
Yeah.
but just control yourself. And that's really normal, I'm telling you, for people like us who don't have experience yet. And we're competing with people who have experience working
Right.
in America. So, yeah. And also, if your partner doesn't like really give you the affirmations that you need, then go for a friend. Talk to your
Right.
friend.
It helps to have a support, really.
Yes, it really helps to have a support, Gracie. And now, and also I'd like to point out, Gracie, what you said about the resume, something that yeah, I'd like to emphasize that one because that was really important. That was really yeah, like when you are looking for a job, in order for your application to be noticed right away, is make sure that in the job that you like to land, make sure to include the keywords in your
Keywords,
resume.
yes.
That's why Grace was telling here that she was editing her resume in accordance to the job that she was applying for, because that's really important. Do not just send a resume that is like we call that, Gracie, custom.
Custom,
No,
yes.
I mean not
It's more
customized.
like general,
No, yeah, no, don't use a general, because you're not gonna be yeah, you're not gonna be
like good and
selected.
verbal skills. No, no, you don't do that.
Yes, and
It's
then the
not
words,
in
like the
oral.
exact words. Because
Yeah.
remember, sometimes there are some ways we can express something or like state something, but it has the same meaning. So make sure that what you meant in your resume is what was really in the job posting. Even
Mhm.
though, even if like you're saying but it means the same. Arlene, why do I have to copy? It's, you really have to copy, because especially for big companies, Gracie, their first filter is a machine or
Machine.
yes, it's not a
There,
person reading your resume, and then the
yeah,
machine just have like the words that will filter. So that's the key thing that you have to keep in mind.
I was about to, like you mentioned about a machine, and I'm not sure if you've heard, but I'm sure I think you heard chat GPT, with or
GPT.
like artificial intelligence, which is like doing the job which usual people would do to, and that in, for the company, that's a really good thing for them because it improves efficiency, and then it also saves them money to pay people to do it. And they have this one machine that could basically just, do whatever. So right now, it's not like we're making it flowery or like not real. Just use a powerful word relevant to the job that you're looking for. It's so if you're in business school, you must have written a thesis or like a feasibility case study, right? So if you were taking so much time, if you remember how much time you took to write the paper, how much time you took to like do the study and analysis, think of it as the way you should be doing your resume. Because whatever during the interview, let's say the first way to like get noticed is your resume, of course. And then after that, they will interview you, like phone interview. And then before COVID, it's like phone. And then after that, person in person, right? So phone by HR, and then in person to the with a panel. I've had panel interview with the people that I'll prospect people that I'll be working with if I get hired. So yeah, first the phone and then the resume. And that when you get to have like a in-person interview, that's when you have to study what's in your resume. Because I
Mm.
had one time, I forgot like my timeline, right? Like how many years have you worked in this company and what did you do, what system did you use, and like if you're in the situation such as this, what did you do. So and then I had just like had a just very simple typo of number. And the position that I applied for, is analysis, the data analysis. And of course, it's going to test me how I analyze, or how, like eagle eyed I am, like how good I am with dealing with data, how I can spot number or like discrepancy right away. So, so he started with my resume, and then he was like, "Oh, you said this, but then there's like a gap with my year, and that's
Mhm.
because there was a typo." So when you write a resume, you may deal with different types of interviewer, but like you could, there's a possibility that you could deal with the interviewer that I had, and he really started with the resume, and he want to make sure that you know what you are writing in your resume, because some people, maybe some, but like they want to test that you're not just putting something that is really not what you did, like
Mhm. Mhm.
skills that
Mhm.
you write but you actually didn't know in real, like let's say for example, oh, you're good in Excel, and there's it really one time in my interview I landed on that job, but like they had you score your Excel, um how, if you rate yourself 1 to 10, how good are you in Excel? So
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
rated myself 8.
Uh-huh.
So, and because I don't know if they're going to test me or anything, so during the interview, so I had the interview with the manager and the final interview with the CEO. um so he had me we sit together in a conference room, and we have like a really good interview. I passed the, like about my resume, about my qualifications, what I did in my previous jobs. And then he gave me a laptop, and he was like, "Okay, I'll give you like a spreadsheet, and like let's see what how you do with Excel, because this job will be doing a lot with data analysis and spreadsheet." And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that he's gonna do that, but like it just caught me off guard. You know,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
already tested. There's like, if you rate yourself from 1 to 10, how good are you with dealing with people? So I think he saw that. How good are you with like customer or like vendors? Sorry, vendors. So I think he saw that, but like the technical part is something that he wanted to test me on. So that was the Excel, and then I actually did, luckily. But you have the part of you like, I wasn't prepared for this, but like
Mhm.
lesson learned. If you want to put something in your resume, make sure that it's um it's something that you can support.
Yeah, like you really can back it up.
Yeah, you can back it
Yes.
up, because like you you could be, lying.
You're
Yeah,
right. And
right.
also, Gracie, even if without the practical exam, even like when you stammer, when you answer the question, because just because you were not really, because
They will
sometimes
know.
I already know that, so it's already in the back of my head, and sometimes retrieving that information, because you haven't practicing it, it will
You
take
have to
you.
practice.
Yeah, it'll take you time to like recall this certain instance, or yeah, that. So and then it would, even if it's true, just because you did not answer right away and in a very confidently manner, they
Right.
would think that, oh, she's lying in her resume, even if it was true, just because you did not really prepare or rehearse for, yeah, for the
True,
interview.
are it could also be, the preparation could also be like you talking to yourself in the mirror, or
Oh.
having yourself attend interview no matter how you think unprepared you are. I've had a lot of
Mm.
interviews where I feel like I suck. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I want to melt. Like so like there were so many interviews I had, and one interview, second interview, third interview, like I failed. And then in different companies, right? So like when like you don't get that job because they don't call you for another interview. And so like but it's not like that was a waste of time for me, because before we had to go to the building itself, to the site, to get the interview. It's not like call or like WebEx. We before COVID. So it's not like a waste of time for me. I feel like I learned a lot from those interviews that I suck, because it's like, oh, this is what they're gonna say. Oh, this is what they're gonna ask. If I say this, they're gonna ask me this. And it's not like you want to be bluffing. You just want to be really preparing yourself. And to
Mm-hmm.
prepare yourself, you will have this confidence to like um you can wear your confidence talking. It could be intimidating talking to someone like a director, a head of the department, who you would really think he knows a lot about so many things. What you can say would be like so funny for him because they could really tell that you're lying or you don't know, so you have your way to dodge that. It's not because you're lying, just because you cannot properly say it because you were not confident. Yeah,
Got it.
so
And then Gracie, about the resume, do you suggest people or applicants to put their picture on it, or how was your resume? So don't put picture. I did not put my picture in it too. And also for everybody here, I just want to say that when I prepared my resume, I also asked for Grace's resume as my reference. As my reference. And how many pages do you think would be an ideal resume, for them to, for the resume to really stand out?
for me, I would say one pager.
One pager.
It depend. Okay, so if you've already had a lot of experience, you can add like a title of it, like what you did, but maybe not deal too much on it. If you're, let's say, I've had experience with customer service. I was in people support. That was my first job as a call center representative in the Philippines. But I was applying for a supply chain position. So I can add like what I did that could help me in relevance to like supply chain, but I
Mm,
didn't have to put a lot of like to spend a lot of space for that. You have to maximize your space for the positions that you've had experience relevant to what you're applying for. So
right.
for me, you have to customize your resume based on what you applied. Like if I was like applying for customer service, of course I'm gonna like explain everything in there. But if not,
Mm-mm.
then make use that space for the other roles that you've had relevant to what you applied for.
Correct, Gracie. And also one thing that they need to keep in mind is, you need to make sure that when you design your resume, do not put it in a way that you are explaining about your job, of your like previous work experience, but instead use that space, which is very limited, because if you're talking about one page, use that page to highlight what you have
Did.
accomplished. What
Yes.
you have accomplished, and that this company that you're applying for is actually looking
Looking
for.
for, yes.
Yes.
So it's
So,
very important to read when you applied for a position, read what they're looking for. And then it's like think about what you did in your previous position that could support that. Hey, I qualified for this, I did this, I have done this, and I am able to do this for this new company. So yes, that's smart 1R. And that's why I said when you apply for a job, it could be very mentally you have to
dreamy.
mentally exhausting because you want a job so bad. But then for you to get it, you have to work for it. And you haven't even got worked, you're not paid to work for that work yet. But then that is the way for you to like maybe get the what the job that you like. Spend time, really
Right.
spend time.
And another takeaway that I got from your resume, Gracie, like when you are highlighting your accomplishment in your previous work experiences, you need to have something that they can measure. Like for example, oh,
50%
yeah,
sales,
50%, or okay, I was
something,
able to save, for example, how many $1 million, whatever. Yeah.
productivity or improve productivity based on this process. So like, yeah,
Yeah, something like not just like
measurable.
describing what you did, but the amount, the
Yeah,
figures, because that will
good.
catch their attention. Like, oh, I was able to save 9 million. Oh, so you saved your company $9 million. So that's a lot of money. So if
Right.
yeah, because if that is something that that company values, then then they will see it on your resume. Though that will really make your resume stand out.
quantifiable
Yeah.
achievement.
Yes, I like that,
Yeah,
quantifiable. That's the
yeah,
word. So yeah, thank you, Gracie. And before we proceed to the interview part, let's read some comments here from Tita Jackie. Jackie is also based in Texas. She is also working for a manufacturing company. So
right.
she said, "Yes, I agree. In my work, I attended a resume building training." So she agrees to what we've said so far about the resume part. You also have to align your objective to what the hiring company is looking for. My
Yes.
interview is just all situational and a star method. I was shocked. I thought the interview is like in the Philippines, like why we should hire you.
Yeah.
I think they did not require a picture because of discrimination. All right, so yeah, moving to discrimination. Discrimination. Moving to the interview. Gracie. In the past interview experiences that you have experience of or went to, what are the, I would say, top three or top five. If you can give top five, that would be nice. Top five questions that you have observed that keeps on repeating in every interview. And how do you think applicants should respond to this interview questions?
Yeah, first is they were gonna ask about you, right? And they're gonna ask
Mm-hmm.
about your the degree, if you have a degree, and it's really like introduction of like how confident you are about yourself, how you know yourself. Um, so that's one of the like you always start with like introducing yourself, and they will see how you look at yourself by talking to them about you. So that's the first one. And the second one is they would ask situational, like Jackie. They would ask situational, like, okay, talk to me about so there is a process that's like taking so long, and
Mm-hmm.
how did you find a solution? So for you to dodge that question, you can think about what you did from the last position, from the last role that you did, and then think about the process. And the process would be like um efficiency, process improvement, or like how you had to ask help, because you understand that you don't know everything, and of course nobody knows everything, and um there's it's not bad to ask questions, like, so but the only thing is to tap the right person, or have that person reach out to the person who could help you. So yeah, situational question. The other thing is resume. How familiar with you are you with a resume? It's like I talked about, they will ask you about your resume. And the fourth one is the job description, like the
Mm-hmm.
systems that you've worked for. Like for example, if you're in supply chain, you mostly heard about SAP or ERP
Mm-hmm.
or Oracle, right?
Oracle. Yes.
Yeah, or Tableau. Like if you're in analytics, you're Tableau, or of course Excel. So make sure that you if when you know that they have that as like responsibilities, and these are the, if you know, most preferred, if they knows you, if the applicant knows about this. So like you make sure that you mention that, because that's what they're looking
Nice.
for.
I agree with everything that
And
you said. Gracie.
the fifth one is ask questions. After they ask you questions, ask
Mm.
questions,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
you can also say like, what do you usually, what does the company do, or like the team is like, it's the main responsibility, how many team members are there, and like, like what the environment is. If they ask you to rate yourself, you could also ask them, if you rate yourself, how friend, or like like how I could get life balance, like work and life balance in your company.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that, because interviewers will also look forward for you to ask questions. Like if you are paying attention, if you are not just talking, or like listening to response, you're also paying attention to know, right? So I think the fifth one is something that I learned, because my boss right now is really like into collaboration. So if you have an idea in the table, he would like it. No matter, there is no stupid idea. It's really like, hey, you can always bring up something, and then one thing would say that might not be doable, but we can bring up this. So yeah, that is those are 5 things that I learned when you want to go prepare for the interview.
Thank you, Gracie. And if I may add, for all of the our viewers here watching us, when they ask you, because they will really ask you, tell us about yourself. That is really their first question. And I learned this from Linda Rainier, that when they're asking you that question, do not just blab. Like, you
Talk
know,
about you.
talk about you and how you fit for the position, for the person that they are looking for.
Right.
You have, because you don't like, tell us about yourself, and you will be talking a lot about yourself that is not really relevant to the job posting. So that's the key point there. And also, Gracie, here's the thing: people will say, I know what to say, but I don't know how to say it articulately. So my question for you is, do you have any tips or advice for people to improve their communication skills, yeah, and their, yeah, especially, yeah, their English skills?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this. A communication skill for me doesn't really have to be like you are so good in speaking fluently, or grammar wise you don't stammer. Because I work in a company which is big, diversity. So you can there are a lot of leaders that are not native English speaker, but they can communicate. They don't have to pronounce the words really well. They just have to communicate, to convey the idea. They are brief, they're concise, but they have everything in it. So communication for me doesn't really have to be like really good pronunciation, perfect grammar, because you could have all those, but they are shallow. You don't have the idea. You don't have the
Yeah,
main
there's
beef
no
there.
impact, right?
You don't have impact. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something that also I learned from working here versus when I was working. Of course, I've had a lot of lessons from the Philippines, but if I have to tell you what I learned in the Philippines, we think that speaking English is a measurement of your intelligence, which is
Mm-hmm.
really not.
Yes.
You could really speak really good English with really, ideas of like, what? I don't really get it. But, so it's if you have some idea and you don't know how to say it, start speaking up. No matter, start speaking up anyway, no matter how you think it sounded like very um, y- awkward, because that's not the usual pronunciation or something, but you speak up, speak with the right thought that you think you should be saying, especially if you think that you have some substance in it. In accounting, Arl, you've heard
Mm-hmm.
about substance over form,
Overform.
right? So like, yeah, so no matter how it you think it sounded like awkward, you have the idea, bring it in the table.
Right. And also, I know, because coming from the Philippines, where we are judged by the way we talk or deliver our thoughts in English, sometimes that would, you know,
Hesitate.
yeah, that would lower your self-esteem, and you would carry that when you come here in the US.
Right.
Please scrub that from your brain, because that's not really what's happening in corporate America. Because like Gracie has mentioned, diversity is being like highly promoted here in the US, and they
Right.
don't care of your pronunciation. They care about your message and how
Right.
can you get the message across. So yeah, but of course that is something that would require you to get out of your shell,
Get out of
and
your shell,
get
yes.
out of your shell and be confident enough in expressing your thoughts, your ideas. So it takes practice, but yes, please don't get insecure with your pronunciation. Eh, because, like, in fact, other people, or yeah, they love our accent as Filipinos. So yeah, thank you for that, Gracie. And so now in when you finally got the job, Gracie, and you have been working 4 years now or 5 years?
For this company, 4
Uh-huh.
years.
Oh, 4 years. You have been working in this company for 4 years now. How is 4 years so far? So yeah, basically, how's corporate America treating you?
It's an ebb and flow. It's like a flow of like ups and downs with it's not like a straight pathway to like feeling like sense of fulfillment, really. But it's been great. I've learned a lot. I never thought that I this is the work that I've dreamed of doing. Oh no, of course I don't dream of working because I dream of like traveling. But like if I have to, like, but this is the line of work that I like to be doing. And I remember sleepless nights being anxious of like landing this type of job. And when I came into some pressure of like deadlines, everything urgent, I would just look back at those nights when I was like, I hope I get that job, Like
I
this
love
moment
that.
is the moment 5 years ago that you were praying for. So if you are faced into a situation where you think that this is too much, it's not, it's it's too much pressure. Think of all the days that this is actually the moment that you have really been working for with all
Mm-hmm.
the resume updates and practicing and doubting yourself. Will I ever get this job? You are there. Suck it up, Buttercup, for the moments that you feel like sometimes you cannot control situations, especially you're in a, in the company there's hierarchy, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
like the CEO of the whole company who makes the final decision, and the decision could impact your role in a
Mm-hmm.
way that, oh, this is not done, this wasn't done before, I have to do this. And doing new things, new process could be uncomfortable, could take you a lot of work, could give you some mental pressure. So but it's a process, really. Like, you can't, the song in nursery song, you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you have to go through it. So it's something that I learned. It's not all unicorns, rainbows,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Absolutely.
it's not like that. And you have to deal with those days. Like, if you can't deal with the best days, we can't deal with the bad days, you can't, I don't think you will be able to get the best days,
Right.
so yeah, that's
Right.
just something.
Wonderful. And Gracie, now for working in the corporate America for several years now, did you experience any microaggression being a Filipino in the workforce?
In my first company here in Texas, I did. I actually That's actually the reason why I left. um
Oh, tell us about
Not sure if
it.
it's me being a Filipino. It's actually the micromanagement. And most of if I remember it right, most of the people under her before me were Asians, and she's also Asian. And she treats us like, she was treating us in a way that like, we're like school kids that you have to spoon feed and everything. That was like micromanagement.
Uh-huh.
And she when I first joined the company, she, of course, she trained me. She was a manager. She gave me the new process. And me, a thinking person, thinks like, oh, that process could be better. So I did my own way, which would land on the same result as as her process would. And I did it, and because I would be the one doing it, right? So I would would be doing the responsibility. And she did it in a way that I could feel like insulted because I didn't do it the way that she wanted it done. And then she
Mm-hmm.
was like doing a formula. It's like logistics part, like, well, we have to compute the freight cost.
Landing cost, something like
So
that.
yeah, and I had my way like a couple of months after in that role. I've decided, oh, because this and this, maybe this is the better way. So I did it, and it's not like it's something that I have to tell her, because it's really just arriving with a formula to the best way to arrive of a freight cost, right? So like, and then she was like, "Did you do this? Did you do this and that?" And then that time I was training someone new in in the team, because most of my colleagues left for that same,
Ah,
and
okay.
I felt I felt like I got I felt in like, like belittled, and knowing that I'm training someone, how could she respect me if my manager is like talking to me like that? So
Mhm, mhm.
I left, and um, and it's not like the first time that she would do that. She did that from to the whole members, and those members are also now my colleagues in the same company that I'm working now. So that was like, yeah, and I've I never talked to HR about it, but HR, because that was a small company, the first company in Texas that I worked for. And she would hear it, and not just to me, towards me, but towards other people. And she was asking me like, how was the treatment so far? And like, it's okay. She's very smart. I've learned a lot from her. And she was like, you know what? You can learn a lot from other colleagues and from different managers, but without having to be embarrassed. You don't have to learn the hard way. Maybe like
Mhm,
you can learn from different people, but you don't have to deal with that type of personality. And that was Asia who told me. So I was
mhm,
like,
mhm.
okay. So now I realize I have to speak up. Yeah. And I realize that if you don't want to be treated that way, then speak up. So we had a one-on-one with her. I had a one-on-one with her, and like I told her about it, and she was like, so so it's really like it's her personality. But
Mhm.
um, that's also the reason why I felt like, okay, it's time to go.
I wonder if she's still with the company, Gracie.
I heard, I think she still is. But
Oh,
it's
I'm
funny
shocked that
because
they didn't let her go.
she's very smart. She's very smart. It's just not the type of like manager that I would hope to work with. um, but it's funny because the people, there are like three of us in the now company that I'm working for who were under her, and we were like talking about all the things that we've been through, which is like very common that we've,
Ah,
yeah, and like here we are now. And so I'm like,
yeah.
good thing. And the best thing about it, I don't think it's like a worse experience, because even if we've had that experience with our manager, we had a great team with like the three people among the like on our in that team. And I got a recommendation from one of the, because the first one that left got to that, to the manufacturing company that I work for now. And then I asked him like, hey, do you know any position that's open? And he was like, hey, yes, there is, give me your resume. And then I got the I sent him my resume. and and then I got an interview the next day. And it was like one, two, three, four interviews in the morning. And then in the afternoon I got the job. It was the same day for offer.
Nice. Yeah. At
Yeah,
least, although it was a series of interview, but it was in the same day.
it wasn't on the same day.
Yeah.
Yes,
So really nice. And also that's the beauty of it, Gracie. The beauty of connections and to
connection.
connect with somebody. So
Yes,
yeah, if you are actively looking for a job or seriously considering of jumping ship or looking for, then find somebody in that company that you're interested to join, and maybe that person can introduce you. Yeah, as Tita Jackie is saying, networking. You network.
networking, correct. So like, okay, so you may not have like a pretty good experience with someone in that team, but you keep your connection with the person that you're working with like, you keep that connection, because the best, I would say, the best way you can someone recognizes you is by having them recommend you for a job position, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they can tell you, I'm so happy working with you, I'm gonna see you, like, I hope to see you soon, like that, when you leave the company. But then how much they appreciate working with you and how much they love working with you would be really like, okay, hey, there's a recommend, I would recommend you. And they could even talk, you can even ask them if you could be they could be a reference to your resume, because you also add reference, right? So
Right.
yeah, your
And
connection.
that right there is a big weight for the company because, oh, this person is recommending this, and this person is actually a star performer in my team. And if this person
Right,
likes this person, then this person must be the same with her. So, yeah, so that's the beauty of it.
right.
Now, Gracie, this is the exciting question. Now, how is corporate America work culture compared to the work culture in the Philippines?
Okay, in the Philippines, we are like, there is this, I would say, bureaucracy. Like, you've been here, let's say you just joined the company, and then, okay, I'm superior, you should do this and all that, but it's okay, it's
Seniority.
strange, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there is also this thing called, like, if you speak up, you have attitude problem. And
Uh-oh.
that was when I hope it's like different now, but that was what I experienced before. And I've always wanted to, like, I'm open. I've applied for a position, I want to learn. And when I said, like, I feel like I'm not learning here, because it's, you want to be doing things that will help your career path. And if you don't think like you're learning, then you have to say that. And I've opened that up, and I got tagged as attitude problem. So
Mhm.
yes, the other thing is that um, it's really like, they treat it's a different treatment when you don't say mom sir in
Mm.
you don't say mom sir here, right? Or mom or sir. And it's okay to say mom and sir in the Philippines, but I think it when you say mom and sir, it removes the idea of like, hey, I have a higher position than you do, right? You should do this. You sometimes they give you a job that is outside the roles and responsibilities that you applied for, and then if you speak up about it, then you would be like, oh, you're being choosy. So
Mhm.
like, but you have to know your value. You really have to, like, is this really something that I should be doing? And if not, then bring it up. It's
Speak up.
right, right. So here, I have no problem with, like, they would be very glad to, like, for me to bring up ideas. And like, if it's for process improvement, for efficiency, they would be very glad to, like, accept it. Yeah.
And the HR too, Grace, they really advocate for us. Like what
Yes.
really we want, like if we bring up something, yeah, they're really open.
I think there is my our HR also has this, like, to report if you feel like there is biases, prejudices, towards us. So this is something that we can open up. And they don't, of course, they don't disclose you, that would be yes. Yeah.
And how about work ethic, Gracie, of like, the people that you're working here in the US compared to the people that you have worked with in the Philippines? How is the work ethic different? Is there any difference at all?
I would say, Philippines, we're very hardworking. Like, I've worked with very smart people in the Philippines, in the company that I work for. They're very hardworking. It's just so sad that sometimes, it goes like they work more hour than they should be working. And I'm not sure, I don't see like a life balance in there, because aside from it's mentally taunting, it's mentally exhausting, it's also taking up time that you would have spent with your family. So I feel like there was no, it's not really encouraged to have that barrier between work and life. um so like working with, I've had, you were one of my great colleagues. um yeah, so hardworking, and maybe it really, um the difference is like if they get appreciated, you know, like appreciations, recognitions, promotions. I don't think it's not something that we, I would say, I don't really want to be biased, because I have never, if it's been like 9 years, right? So like, yeah, promotions would be good, like with regardless of your gender, regardless of um where you're coming from, right? Or the university that you graduated. So I would say, yeah, it, maybe feel some companies could do better in doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
And also I think what I noticed as well here in the US is that if you do something above and beyond, they will really go out of their way to recognize you.
right.
And they will really like they're very vocal if they appreciate your work. I don't know, maybe because in the Philippines we're not really vocal in
With
our appreciation.
appreciation,
Yeah,
yes,
that's just something I noticed here working in corporate America, that they will really slack you or email you, give you rewards like if we're doing nice things, or if we're
right.
doing above and beyond, I really appreciate what you did, or like something like that, or there's like the words, like to some it's like, oh, it's not true, but no, not really. Like the person really meant it. And something that Filipinos as well has to learn, that if you like what the person did, do not with do not keep it to yourself.
Do
Tell
not
that
keep it.
person.
Yeah,
And that's something Americans really love doing. Like even outside
right.
work. Even
Yeah,
outside work, like when I go here outside in the grocery, something like that, people will approach me and say, hey, I really love your hair.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that. Like, I like your shoes. I like it. Yeah, simple things like that matter, especially if you
Mhm.
don't know what they're going through, right? So it's like for, I was like walking one time in to our pantry, and one woman told me, and she was truly something like, "Hey, I really, really like how your face looks like. It's so bright." And she was, and I'm like, really? And I felt like I was drudgy. I was so like, how could you say that? But you know what? It really helps. Thank you so much. So like, yeah. And yeah, our company also has this portal called like Applause. So if you want to recognize someone, like just for like, okay, you've helped me in this project, applause 5 point or like 100 points, whatever. But like this is like a wall for us to like recognize someone that we feel like really helped us or like appreciate working with. So yes,
Yeah.
that is something that we're very vocal with, like appreciation, because recognition really, it's, even if it's not monetary, it makes
Hmm.
you feel your value, like, oh, what I did is making difference, so yeah, maybe we could do more with in yeah,
Yeah, that's something I appreciate also, Gracie. We also have that kind of platform in our company. That
yes,
yeah, like when somebody appreciates your work, they will give you a shout out and or kudos, and then
yeah,
even if it doesn't include monetary appreciation, that
no.
means a lot.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
not like we are, waiting to be recognized. It's not like we do work to be recognized or to be appreciated. It's just that with all the crazy things, deadlines and reports, and you are seen, to be seen, it's not like, oh, I'm not doing this for nothing. It's actually something that matters. It affects this department. This is, it's a supply chain. It's a ripple effect. Yeah.
Correct. And then another thing I would like to highlight, Gracie, I don't know if you agree, but I noticed that Americans or the work culture here in America is that they are friendly, but they are not familiar. Meaning they're not very nosy, like or talk about
No
something like
personal
really
things.
so personal about you. No, but they're very friendly. They're very nice. Unlike in the Philippines,
We like talk about the whole family.
right, Gracie? There, what you call that? There's a term for that, like office. Oh, aside from office politics, that's what they call that, office
Politics,
politics,
yeah.
and then office gossip, and yeah, people do not really, yeah, here. That's what I know. It's like work, 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 and also another thing is they don't really bother you outside office hours.
Yes. No emails.
And if they send something just because probably they're just preparing ahead for the day to come, they will really emphasize that this is not urgent. You do not have to reply right away. I'm just preparing for my day for tomorrow, blah, blah. You can answer this tomorrow because they're very conscious not to take
Res-
away your
res-
time with
yeah,
your family. That's what I noticed.
right. Because like before, we were even when we are on weekend, right? So
Uh,
we had to work, or not like we had to work. We get some messages that okay, you have to send this or you have to do this and all. But like here, they respect your time with your family. Like if it's beyond office hour, then it's something that they okay, it's not just like your boss sometimes. And I also get it. I might forget sending this an email, so I will send it to you, but that doesn't mean you have to there's no action item right away. It can wait until tomorrow. So yeah, it's and no marites, no there could be like small talk, but like just about it. No, like it doesn't have to be something that we can sit together with and like just eat chips and like talk about someone's life. we, maybe because we are too busy with, or like we're busy. I feel like in Philippine company we're very busy too, but maybe we chose not to invest our time for that.
Right, Gracie, there's somewhat a personal question here for the both of us. Hey Sam, thank you so much for watching. He asked, is your spouse from Indian origin? My spouse is not of Indian origin, Gracie.
Is that for me? Okay,
Eh, eh,
mine is yes.
okay, so yeah, thank you so much for those inputs,
What was that
Gracie.
question for?
Huh? I don't understand how. I mean, where did it come from? But yes, yes, yes. Sam K. So now, Gracie, after working in corporate America and you rose to the ranks, now you are holding a managerial position or role in your current company. What do you think, for you, are the skills that one should hone, or yeah, one should have in order to succeed or excel in whatever position they are in?
Yeah, so for me, talking about all these AI, for you, I mean, like just for me, or it might apply for you. It's really analytical thinking, critical thinking, like for you to be able to understand things and analyze situations and be able to understand it and um, deliver it in a way that is simple to the leadership and concise. So
Mm.
yeah, that is one of those for me. And keep learning, constantly be a student for life. Be not afraid to take risks of like taking unfamiliar. For me, the growth really starts when you do things that you think you're not qualified doing, but you did it anyway. And here you are. Because like before, I was like, can I do this? I've never done this before. But you know, if you stay in your comfort zone, you're not growing. If really growth starts with like diving into something that is unfamiliar, and the only difference there really is that your willingness to learn. Like when we were students, we were so interested to learn, right? Like we really wanted, like, what was that? But like when as we grow, we may feel like that's the stamina to like learn may would go down, but keep that up. Keep that up. There's really nothing that you cannot learn if you put your mind to it.
Love.
Be always teachable.
Yeah, and thirsty for learning. Yeah, thirsty. And so yeah, that's so beautiful, Grace. And you were talking about be a student for life. Now I have a question relating to that. Do you have someone that you consider as a mentor in your career life? And do you think it is important for someone to have a mentor uh, in their professional life?
1 second, R. Let me just deal with my son. Okay. I'm sorry. He was playing harmonica and making some noise, so I told him to. um, yeah, he was like respectfully exiting the door. But anyway, what was that? Sorry, mentor.
Yes. Do you have someone that you consider as a mentor in your career or professional life? And do you think it is important to have a mentor to succeed in the professional arena?
Yes, I have a couple. Or say my first mentor is when I first applied for a job. It's my husband. He's always someone who I can speak with, especially in the corporate world. Like, how did you deal with this type of responsibility or with this
Mm,
type of person? Like, you could be dealing with like some toxic personality, right? So like, or like personality that I haven't, you're not familiar with dealing with. So that was that first is my husband, and then the other one is like, I usually the people that I like my it's not like I purposely do it, but maybe because we have the same interest, the people that I spend time with are and my acquaintances are like older than me or like and are more skilled and smarter than me. So don't be hesitant to be learning with or like spending time with the people that are don't even feel insecure that they are smarter than you. Now, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but if you give me a data and I can sit on it, I can understand it. But like these people would be like, you can just talk to them and then they get it right away. So these are
mhm.
like, I would say they're very smart and they have been in the industry more than I've worked for. So the mentor really helps because it's really like you have to admit to yourself that you do not have the skills for everything. You don't know a lot. You have to make yourself open for their ideas. You have to be learning. The way to learn really is to like working with people and experience. So yes, I have.
Lovely. Now, Gracie, would you be open if somebody will ask you for help and they would like you to be their mentor? How would are you open to that kind of setup? Like if you're gonna give your advice, and how can they reach you? Can you please promote your channel?
Yeah, so I'd love to like teach whatever I can based on my experience. I cannot give you the best advice because my technique might not work for you. But if you want to pick up my brain or like have some chat for ideas or like travel and work and life
Oh.
and book and song. So yeah, you can reach me at my YouTube channel, which is Go Grow Grace. Yeah.
All right. So because you mentioned travel, I'd like to insert this. what um what I mean in the past vacations and travel excursions that you've had with your family, what place really stood out for you?
Belize.
Belize?
Yes,
Oh.
it's in Belize. It stood out for me because usually when you go to a country or a vacation spot, you would really when they know that you are they say, where do you come from? Or from the America, or from, United States. And they would feel like, oh, it's so good, right? Like, but when we went to Mexico, um, they would feel like, where you have the feeling that they think you're earning a lot.
Uh-huh,
So,
uh-huh.
and I don't like that, because okay, we are earning, but we are also spending. We're earning dollars, spending dollars, so it's really like, it's go in and out. But when in Belize, I didn't have that feeling. I feel like they're very contented with what they have, the resources that they have, and their
Oh.
agricultural resources are all there. They have plantations of grapes, mangoes. Like, agriculture is rich, and they have this fishing. And the resort that we stayed, um, they have this compost. So
Oh.
whatever waste they've had, they put it to that compost, and then make it like, not, they're having animal manure, so like very organic. And for me, it's a luxury, because not everyone get to eat organic foods. Like, here in in America, we're like, you have all these GMOs,
Mhm.
right?
Frozen
Genetically modified
everything.
organisms, yeah. So, and really, it's the people. Like, they remember your name, like the staff.
Oh.
When you go to a restaurant, the resort has their like restaurant, and then we stay there for like 5 days. And the first day, they know the guest list, right? But you wouldn't know that they know it. That's your first day, but like, they know our names. Like, they have this, the hospitality there is um something that is so warm. And it's also like, the weather is like, in the Philippines, it's maybe it's humid, but like, we're close to the beach, palm trees, breezy, forest. Yeah, so that was, for me.
Thank you for that. And maybe I'm gonna look it up as well,
Yeah.
and I'll consider that in our future travel destinations, Charlotte. And Gracie, so you have a successful career in America. You're also a mom of one, of course, a very loving wife to your husband. How do you do all these things? And what keeps you going?
Okay, how did I do all these? It's really taking one step at a time. Like, I have so many things. There's like 8 hours for me to work in the office. And I haven't even bathed for that 8 hours, right? I haven't like done all these things. So really, there's so many things to do, so little time. Um, it's really like, okay, take one step at a time. Like, wait, but you have to take care of yourself. Like, eat healthy foods, sleep well. And if you cannot sleep well, at least eat something healthy foods. Like, um, the best way to take care of others, of your family, of your work, is to take care of yourself. And as much as possible, between like, if I have like free time, of like, I don't watch TV. I would sleep. So like, the only time I would watch TV is when like my husband would open, like when we're eating lunch,
Ah,
when he turns on the TV, and that's the time. Like, if I get to have to do another thing, other than sitting in the dining table, I'm not gonna be watching TV. So like, I sleep, or like spend time with my son. So how I juggled it, it's really like, my job is important, but my family is more important. So, if and it's a good thing that my job is also flexible. Like, I don't like get to be like, I have to do this right now. So there are some reports that, if this is done, this is the priority. This priority, you have to do this, and you can do some maybe later, or like an hour after I get to deal with this one. So it's really like dealing with your priority. Yeah.
nice. That's so lovely. And to close the podcast, Gracie, it has been a wonderful conversation with you. I wish we have unlimited time because
I know.
you know me. I love talking. I love hearing your inputs. But in the interest of time, to close this podcast, let's close this podcast by a Fast talk. Charot! Boyabon na
All
lang ang
right.
peg. All right. So here's my question. What is your motto or mantra in life?
Okay, my motto and mantra in life is really like this is from the book. I read this book from Robert Greene, and that book is called 48 Laws of Power. And among the 48 laws that I've read, I was in college that time. Yeah, I was in college. And it's really this disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Okay, no, because there are things that you really, really, really like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
out of your reach, right? And you spend so much time, um, being emotional about it, or like feeling pity to yourself towards yourself because you can't get it, or like just wasting the present moment because this is something that you can't get. So this is what I disdain things you cannot get. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Just let it go. That's not for you. Maybe in some other time you can get it, but just ignore it if you can't get it.
Next would be, what is the word that best describes you?
Grit.
Oh.
It's one thing. It's you call it courage when you begin something that you're afraid to do, but like grit takes you to keep on doing the things that you've started, even if the situation gets tough. Like if it seems impossible, okay, I've started, I can give up. I've started already, I've tried, but no, you cannot give up. You're not done yet. So if you don't have, for me, I'm still practicing. I'm not good at it because I'm not perfect, right? But like it's something that um I'm output driven. If I want this output, I cannot just stop. I've started, I've got the courage to start it. And I'm here in the middle. So I have to keep going. It's really your persistence.
I love it. Next, what is your ultimate favorite book? I think this is difficult for you because you're a
Right.
book reader.
So when I read that question from you, I was really thinking of all the suspense book that I've read from Agatha Christie, Da Vinci, like uh Paulo Coelho, Jane Austen. So I've read all those drama series, fiction books. But then when I think about the books that really taught me, like I could remember whenever I'm like in a situation where it's difficult to like maybe I need some inspiration, So I would always, the lines that comes from a book are the ones that are from Dr. Seuss, and I read that story to my son. And you can really learn a lot from the books, especially What Was I Scared of? It's a
Oh.
book, a story from Dr. Seuss, one of his Sneetches and the Beaches and other stories. So What Was I Scared of is one of those stories, and it's really
Mhm.
talking about most of us are scared of like strange things that we don't know, or like people that we don't know. Like for example, I'm new to this and I'm so hesitant to approach this person. You don't know that person is also hesitant to approach you unless one of you starts to open up and speak up. So, yeah,
Nice. I will definitely get that book
try
for
it.
my
It's
daughter and
for
for
sure.
myself.
Yeah.
Next, what is your comfort food?
My what?
Comfort food.
Noodles.
Oh, same with
Yes.
me.
I survived noodles when I was in college. And, right? So, like,
That's why, Gracie, when I go to Asian store or in Walmart in the Asian aisle, and when I see the pancit canton,
uh-huh.
I always
Yeah.
have a debate with myself because I said, I know I would tell myself that I will only eat that whenever I'm very lazy or like I want something that's easily, done or,
5 minutes.
prepared. But you know what, Gracie? That's not always the case. Like even if I have other options ready, I will always go for them. I was like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is so bad, Arlene. And like I can finish them, a lot of them, if I will not really. restrain myself.
Right.
But yeah, like you, noodles, ramen. I love it.
Ramen, yeah.
Yes. Number 5. What is your theme song right now?
Theme song. Interesting. It's actually Brave by Sarah Bareilles.
I just wanna be brave.
Say what
And
you
I'm
want to
gonna
say
say,
and let the
let the
world
world
fall down.
fall down. Honestly,
Honestly, I want to
I
see you
wanna
be
see
brave.
me
Yeah.
brave. Oh, I love that song too.
Well, because as an immigrant, we have so many, or like going into new places, or even if you move from one state to another, it's really like familiarity, and it's starting to speak up is something that we can practice or we can do more with. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's that song, and I know I've been listening to Taylor Swift song. Like, right when I feel like I there is something that I'm hesitant to talk to or about. um there are so many awkward situations, right? But it really requires to discuss. You really need to discuss it, so you need that courage.
Lovely. Next. What do you miss most about the Philippines except family and friends?
Of course, that's always first, right? Yeah. Going out from, whenever we go outside, there are always a lot of like street foods and
Yes.
eating barbecue. uh, like the food, the soup, the kinamot, magkinamot na ana. So like that's one thing that I miss a lot. Like very accessible. Like just go out of your house. You have, if you forgot to cook or you have no time to cook, you have carinderia. You have,
Um,
right, and the cooks, the foods that mom, our mom would usually cook, like talong, um,
um,
pinakbit, di ba?
linata.
Nilataan, sinabawan, yes.
Yes.
Especially kana ganing for breakfast are kanang naitapsilog.
Tapsilog.
Yeah, those
Yum yum.
yeah, yeah, Filipino foods that are street foods.
So next, one thing you can't leave the house without.
My license, sunglasses, eyeglasses, sunglasses, my wallet,
So
and
your eyes
sunscreen.
now are really bad, Gracie, that you really have to have glasses with you all the time?
Um, yeah. Well, for me to drive, my license has, it indicated I have to really, yeah, but I cannot drive properly if I don't have my glasses. It gets blurry. So
Oh, I see.
if it's too bright, if it's sunny, I have to have my sunglasses, which is like
Me
with the,
too.
yeah, the prescription sunglasses.
Yeah,
So
mine is not prescription, but I noticed that if I don't wear sunglasses while driving, because I always squint
glare,
over
yeah,
time, then over time my head was just gonna break.
yeah. Maybe
So
it's time for you to get your eyeglasses.
yeah, so that's why I always have that in the car with me. Next is my daughter is just getting tired. All right, what is your dream vacation?
Dream vacation, Iceland.
Iceland? That's
Yeah.
beautiful in there. Next, if money is not an issue, how does your day look like?
Oh, I would wake up with breakfast ready. Right? And just you don't have to worry about work if money is not an issue, right? So, yeah, and you don't have to worry about deadlines and reports. And you just be sitting in my couch reading my books or playing with my kids. That would be my day. But no, we can't.
Thank you for that. Next is one last question. Who is Grace? And oh, okay, somewhat here. So, who is Grace and what keeps her going?
Grace is timid. It looks timid. I'm not confrontational. I could keep things in myself, but I have the fire in me to do the things that I like to be doing. I'm always willing to learn. Um, I'm not, the smartest person in the whole world, but I can learn if I would put myself into it. I am a mother, and the most things that I take strength from is my son and my husband, my family, of course. Um, I could be very focused on my job, but if I have to drop something, I have to drop some of my schedule. I, I could be like, I'm a mother first. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, Gracie, for yeah, for doing this with me. I really appreciate your time. I know you are
No,
so busy,
here.
but you really said yes to this conversation. And my takeaways from our conversation is that know your priority.
Right.
Because when you know your priority, that will guide you with your decisions. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said, I am a mother first. That really resonates with me.
Right. We are
I
ambitious, yes.
Yes, I am a mother first. Yes, I can be productive. I can be someone that's like super focused with my job, but when it comes to my daughter, she comes first. And
Yes.
I'm just so grateful that I am in a company that values family as much as I value family.
And family,
So
yes.
yeah, we're very grateful to have that.
Grateful,
And
yes.
I'm also very grateful to all of our viewers who are watching us tonight. And we have actually four here, but I can see Jackie, Sam. I think it's my husband watching us. I'm also very grateful with my
Very
husband.
supportive, Paul.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I hope to see you again next time. And if this video resonates with you, please help my channel or help this video reach more people by sharing this to your friends and giving it thumbs up or comment what you your thoughts about this video, because the more interactions, the more chance of the algorithm to like this video and share it to the whole wide world. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope to see you again next time. Thank you,
Thank
Gracie.
you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.